Alrighty. In this video, I want to go over how you can use manual handoffs, manual screens, as well as the receive screen option to recreate some pretty cool stuff out of an initial play call, whatever you decide to run. I wanted to really make this video because, I mean, as long as I can remember, you're always in a better spot if you run a smaller set of plays and get a feel for those plays and their timing and their spacing, and basically allow yourself to improvise and call and create your own kind of secondary reads off of the initial action, rather than like depending on a play having multiple different plays that have multiple reads built into them that you're locked into when you call it. So if that doesn't make sense, like look at the delay sets that they include in this game, which is, it's pretty cool that they have like seven different ones that include, say, like you pitch it to Ayton, and then Chris Ball goes and sets the down screen, and then you're into your handoff game, and then maybe delay set number 2 is handoff, and then the wing or the corner guy sets a back screen for Chris and then slips. Like, having those different options is super cool. But the fact that you're kind of locked into that and not necessarily just reading the defense it's not necessarily a realistic way to run your offense. So yeah, being able to find those on your own and being able to get to them whenever you want to is pretty cool. So I'm going to go over a play called Punch 3 Iverson that I think does a pretty good job using the Suns personnel, and also kind of highlights what I talked about using the manual options that are available to you. So obviously it's an Iverson cut play where a couple screens are set at the free throw line, and you got Booker working towards strong side block for a mid-post ISO. And so that's the initial look on the play, but as we get down on the second possession, you'll see some of the other stuff that you can run out of it. That's super cool. So and normally I wouldn't call this play off a myth, because it's a play that takes a little bit of time to get into the right spacing, as you'll see here. The guys just kind of have to move around and get into their spacing before we can do anything. But obviously, first look, mid post against Middleton here. Got a decent look there. Normally I'm going to try to face him up against a guy like Middleton. He's kind of my handle and not necessarily my size, because that's just really not where the advantage is. So that's the first look on the play. Obviously, if I have a smaller guy, I'm going back to the basket and trying to put him in the goal. But we're going to get into the fun stuff here, and this is the action that took me a little while to find. So like I said, the Suns don't run a lot of Iverson action, but they do like to bring Booker off of like little pin downs out of the lane up into handoffs. And if he's not receiving a screen, he's just sprinting, like maybe working his way from the corner into the lane and then sprinting up into a handoff. I mean, if you watch the Suns at all, that's what they run a lot with Booker. And to be able to get that kind of action out of this play is super cool to me. But yeah, it's just something that you wouldn't be able to find unless you practice the play and get a feel for timing. So we're going to run through that option one more time here. So you got Mikal coming off the Iverson cut. You wait for him to clear, hit Ayton. And then your timing is super important on getting the receive screen for Booker into the handoff. You want to try to trigger it right away after you enter it into the elbow to Ayton. If you wait a little too long, normally Chris is going to kind of vacate his spot, and then you're going to get into maybe screening action that you didn't anticipate, which you can still play out of, but it's just not predictable. So yeah, run that one more time so you can get a look at the timing here. So wait for Mikal to clear, time up that receive screen. Here they kind of have to relocate a little bit, and the timing's not great, but still you're getting Booker coming off that handoff, and it's a pretty sweet looking, probably unnecessary step back, but yeah, no, just kind of cool, pretty cool. Took some time to find that, but yeah, I just like how you can kind of create that option, create that look without it being built into the play. You kind of go to it whenever, regardless. So I'll run this play a couple more times, go through some options that may not necessarily be ones that I've practiced, but just based on the alignment of the play, you're always going to be able to get to if you just, take the time to realize what's available to you. You don't always have to run exactly what's designed in the play. So like right here, if Mikhail's not open off the clear and I don't want to go into the mid post or whatever, I've got spread ball screen spacing. So I can just go into that with Aiden and Chris. That's always available. That's kind of my last ditch option, but if a team, obviously you're playing against a computer, so this isn't real life. But say you run that play a couple times in a row, and they're used to, or maybe you are using it against a user, which you'd have to set up a playbook or go in and edit your playbook. But and they're getting used to all this off-ball action that you're running. And they're trying to anticipate that, and they're trying to move around their center to break up any sort of off-ball action. You can just run spread pick and roll. Just get to spread pick and roll out of it. So obviously you got Mikhail coming off the AI, so if he's open, great. If not, you can throw it to him or throw it to Aiden, get into some split cut game, maybe ask for a screen for Chris, kind of like a hammer-like action into the corner for a good look there. If I want split cut, I'm probably going to ask for Mikhail to receive a screen, so I'm going to try that and just see what happens. Like all this is trial and error, seeing what timing and what locations on the floor trigger what sort of screens. I'll be able to show you another one here that triggers a RIP screen or a UCLA, whatever you want to call it, screen. That's it's all it takes is just trial and error practice with it. So. Punch 3 Iverson. So right here, I'm gonna hit Crowder off the pop out, and I'm gonna ask Chris to receive a screen. Here they go back into that kind of hammer stuff. Here I got kind of Aiden and a little duck in. Oh, they try to collapse. Let's get Chris Paul off of that. Trying to remember how I got that rip screen. Pretty sure it's off of throwing it to Crowder and then calling for a screen, but I'm going to call Mikhail, or I'm going to give it to Mikhail and then call Chris for a screen. I should get the rip. Yeah, I got a little rip there. And then sometimes you get a little rescreen action here. If that's not free, spread pick. Calling for a pick and pop this time. He's got cleared out for the screen. You can flip it back, pitch and chase. There's just so much stuff you can do in this game that's just basketball, just playing out of concepts that, obviously you have to have some sort of basketball experience or IQ to even realize that they're available to you, but the more time you play this game, you just realize how many options you have. So here I can kind of get into what I like to run off of misses. So if you have Aiden at the top of the key, you can literally just get into delay action using the pass and screen away option, left directional into left bumper, and then you're just into delay. Chris comes and sets the down screen for Mikhail coming out of the corner, and then you're just into handoff, and then if that's not available, you can swing it, or you can go into spread pick and roll, whatever you want to do. You can go into split cut. You could, take that handoff with Mikhail, nothing there at the top of the key, throw it into Aiden at the elbow, split cut. There's just so much you can do. Here, I'm just kind of in secondary break. He's got a beat on Brooke, just taking it to the lane. Always got a stop ball on Giannis. Here, I'm probably going to bring a double. Make PJ beat us. Oh, too big, too strong, too good. Alrighty. Here I'm going to call another play. Just another way to use handoffs and manual screens to get into kind of some second options. So it's just a wide pin for Book. If I don't like the play, I can just get into handoff and get into screen and roll game with Aiden. Quick little flow into that. And then I'm off. So yeah, I'm probably a broken record at this point, but yeah, there's so many options available to you if you take the time to read it, read the spacing. I'm going to run one more play here. I'm going to take that shot since it's open. I think it's called 25 pin. It's just a quick little pin that you normally see a lot of teams run in secondary. It works really well with the Suns because normally Booker and Chris Paul are running down opposite lane lines. So the spacing just allows you to get into this action pretty quick normally. So that's your first look, obviously. Coming off the pin, if he's open or if he goes under, you're just pulling. You're making him pay. We'll back up, let Giannis do his thing. Give me that. That's just disrespectful. Alrighty, I'm going to run 25 pin again, get into my secondary look that I normally like to run. So kind of similar to the other play. If I don't like it, I can run handoff with Chris into 8 and pick and roll, a little brush screen. Chris is just a god level passer, so I'm going to throw it behind my head to the corner and make the 3. And then there's one other like obvious option that you can do out of this play that's pretty cool, and I'll show you that right now. It's 25 pin, you got Booker coming off the wide, and then you can just hit the elbow here, have Chris receive a screen, and then you're in handoff game with Ayton and Chris, and he gets a step, and he's finishing. So yeah, just wanted to pop on here, give you a look at how I run offense in 2K. This is what makes 2K fun for me, is just hopping into Scrimmage, getting a feel for plays. And I do dig through the playbooks to find plays that work. Not necessarily because they're money plays and they work every time, but like I talked about before, they have good spacing, a nice initial action, and I'm able just to improvise, get to second and third options that I'm able to manually trigger whenever I want to. I'm not locked into them if I call a certain play. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I probably will hop on again and run some more plays if you guys like this stuff. I'm sure you guys don't think this is as exciting as I think it is, but I'm sure some of you will enjoy it. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and you'll probably see me soon.